You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Foreign and Domestic Podcast. I am one of your super high hosts, Maya Axton, and with me tonight are my other co-hosts.
I am Daniel Puffers.
Older brother, too.
Oh, it's me, Chris. I mean, you all know me, right?
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
on like 2 episodes of We Are Libertarians.
Yeah,
Now I'm on an episode of this.
Well, they talked about you a lot. We Are Libertarians talked about you a lot. They like to talk about people that they think listen because they were once on it, but we were on it. We've never listened to it.
I feel like they talked about it and talked about me on it because they knew I didn't really listen to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like talking behind your back. I think that's an Indiana thing.
It might be an Indiana thing.
I don't want to be mad at Indiana, even though I left.
Well, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just an Indiana thing. Is it not? I mean,
You're not saying it with the best connotation, but
don't tone police me. Don't tone police me.
I can't
Quit
really
tone
argue that
policing
much.
Maya,
Yeah,
Chris.
that's me. I am the tone police. If you
Yeah.
were unaware of my role on this show,
What is this show, and why are you here? This is the first episode of the Foreign and Domestic Podcast, and what is it exactly? We had a teaser episode we put out, and that should be well viewed and well received, I hope.
but it wasn't the first episode.
It was
in
the
case
teaser. It
sucks.
was like the pilot. The pilot's like episode 0, right? That was this is episode 1. That was episode 0.
It's like when you do a soft open for a new store.
Yeah, you got to pitch it to the crowd first,
Yeah,
because
okay.
you know, like this will never see the light of day if that teaser doesn't go well. Okay, yeah, right. So if you're listening to this and the show never went anywhere, you are special. If not, welcome to the first episode. We're gonna bring you all kinds of fun things like that because, well. I did mention that one of the high hosts, and we are high. We are, I think, here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
5280.
No, we're like 50.
Oh, wait, it's 56, I think.
We're like about
Yeah.
5,600 feet above sea level, so we're very high, which means we're fit. We have nicer butts. We
Yep.
You're either walking up or downhill when you're out here.
Every single place you go, even inside your house, somehow it's up and downhill.
It's called tectonic shift.
Fancy words. That's what you'll get here is verbosity. Verbosity? I don't know how to say words. Moving on. We are also have consumed copious amounts of cannabis products, which you will hear some of during this very show.
And not just ordinary cannabis products. Top-notch cannabis products.
Top-notch cannabis products, because we ain't no scrubs, okay?
Colorado grade.
Colorado grade. I'm not really sure what that means yet because I haven't been there that long. But you know what? I'm learning a lot.
You have a lot to learn.
And you guys have only been here for a couple years.
Right
I've been
around
here
a year.
couple years.
A couple years and a year. And
Yeah, I
then-
moved out about my buddy's birthday, which was a week ago.
Okay, so you've had your year anniversary then.
Yeah, just recently. One of those days in the past few.
Fantastic.
And then around March 6th was where I saw my 2.5-year mark.
Oh, fantastic. I guess this would be my 3.5 months I've been here, I think.
It's going to go quick.
Yeah,
Your first year flies by.
But the thing is, I kind of lived out here before you did a little bit. I mean, as an adult. Because, like, I lived in Albuquerque.
As a kid, I lived out here before you did.
But as an adult, I became an adult out west. I moved out and I was stationed in Albuquerque, New Mexico at 18 years old.
That's basically Colorado, New Mexico.
It's a big mountain. Well, no, it's out west. It's a different thing. It's not Indiana. I mean,
It is
compared to
not Indiana.
Oh my God!
It has a lot of the same drug problems as Indiana, but it is not.
I didn't know about that kind of stuff back then. But like, I lived in Wyoming for a little while. I lived in Arizona. I lived in Utah. I lived in Colorado.
Why Wyoming?
Yeah, these are the worst states in the West.
Well, I lived there because work. I lived up in Gillette, Wyoming for about 4.5 months to work on a coal mine, putting in a conveyor belt.
Okay.
I lived in Utah working on a copper. No, that was a gold mine. Working on some like reclaim units. I lived in Arizona for 3 months working on a gold mine there, and a copper mine. That was fun. Yeah, no, so I lived everywhere just for like 3 or 4 months at a time, or 2 weeks, or there are some jobs I would drive like 1,200 miles for like 2 days worth of work. Yeah, it was cool.
Sounds fun.
So
I'd do the same thing.
I was
used to
like
be a
I was
truck
like a
driver.
gypsy of the West. So like you were a truck driver and like you were like the nomad of the West. I was like I think that's offensive.
I was more of a
to say.
merchant, you know?
Yeah. I was. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Peddling my fine wares.
Maybe I was more of a
Chips,
nomad.
Mag-
You were-
Magnolia
Gypsies and nomads
TVs
are pretty
and the
much
like.
the same thing.
Okay. I'll go with nomad because I think gypsy might be offensive of some way. But
It
I'll be
is.
like,
It's
It's
a bit of a
offensive
slur.
to people like Daniel who
It's
you know
a bit
have
of a
no
slur.
heritage but heard it was a slur somewhere.
No. It is a derogatory term for Romanian people.
Okay,
and it
Romanian
confuses
people?
them with Egyptian people.
Romanian people, you let me know if I should use that word or not. Romanian
Oh, you're
people
gonna get
only.
some. You're gonna get some comments.
I don't want-
well. Okay, I did that on purpose. Sorry, but like no, like nomadic. So like I lived at nomadic, and then you kind of you drove it. So you were like the merchant of the road, like,
peddling fine wares like Magnolia TVs and Scott's fertilizers. That stuff is heavy.
that sounds like bombs. Yeah, but and then
Nah, it was too low grade for.
That-
really,
but that's-
fertilizer can't be used for that
that's kind of
anymore.
part of the name of the podcast, foreign and domestic, is that we are foreign and domestic everywhere we are, every time we're somewhere. Because you weren't born where you are, and you weren't born where you grew up, and so neither were you. And so like all this stuff and what you remember versus what you remember versus hell what I remember. Like when I first got back to Indiana and I first met Chris Spangle, he was talking to me. He's like, your accent is the weirdest, most interesting accent ever. It's like, where is it from? And one of the interesting things is being in the military. Being
pick
around
up a
all
little
of those
bit
different
of-
accents.
yeah.
Then after I got out of the military, I was working on construction sites with high skilled people. So there was a core group of like 50 people across the country that did these things and worked in these job sites. It's like
Yeah,
this
when you
weird
work-
eclectic people, and it's like all these really strong weird accents, and it's like you talk weird after a while. You talk really weird after
Well, when
a while.
I worked around such a diverse crowd of people, I figured out that I was picking up mannerisms from Brooklyn, mannerisms from the South, mannerisms from all over the place. I can.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot easier for me to tell if somebody has a Houston accent versus a Kentucky accent nowadays because of my time in the military.
Yeah. Culture shock extreme. Like, I don't have culture shock coming back out here, and you don't have culture shock coming out here, really, because the military just kind of beats that out of you. Like, oh
You-
my God.
You just
Well,
deal with it. It's your new reality.
one of the neat things was going through basic, and you go from people kind of trying to stand up against the TIs and against the instructors and everything else, and the next thing you know, they're just broken down into nothing, and you're all the same little white, clean, little bulb, little doves that they're shoving in the cage as a magic trick. And then the next thing you know, like you're in tech school and you're starting to have a little bit more freedom, and people are starting to come back out of their shells. And then when you get
A
stationed,
scarier person comes out a lot of the time.
oh man, you're like, yeah, I like this person, and in tech school, you're like, man, you suck. Yeah, there's some interesting people. It really weeds out the weirdos.
It doesn't weed them out.
Well, I mean, it weeds them.
The normal people just end up getting injured somehow.
It seems
and
like it
shafted
weeds out the normal people. Yeah.
Yeah, I made it through just
Just-
fine. Oh, what does
Yeah,
that
exactly.
say? Oh no! Oh
It's-
no!
The longer you get in there, the more weirdos there are.
For anyone curious, I was United States Air Force Security Forces, and Daniel was.
I was in active duty United States Army. I was stationed at Eglin Air Force Base for the majority of my time at the NAV School EOD. So
Yeah.
I was Army at a Navy school on an Air Force base.
Oh, wicked! I was Air Force on an Air Force base, doing Air Force stuff with bombs
Yeah.
and guns, and I got to shoot guns and
I shared a
stuff.
barracks with every branch of the military. There were Marines, there were airmen, there were sailors.
Sounds awful.
There were times it was pretty awful.
I
But
didn't
I
even
met
like-
some really interesting people and
I didn't even
made
like
some
going-
relationships I really cherished.
I literally begged to not go to the range when any other personnel were going to be there that weren't security forces, because it's like we're the only people that carry a gun on us like every single day at this base. There's mostly civilians here, and then any of the other people that have to go qualify like that one time a year crap. It's like I don't want to be around
Amateur
them
day
because
at the range.
I literally feel like I was in danger because we would go train on like EOD or not EOD, DOE and DOD ranges and stuff, and do like the SWAT training and stuff. Oh god. Oh God, shooting guns in fun ways.
How was
just
it shooting
standing-
with civvies?
Like when people want to go to the range and just shoot at paper targets, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? This is so boring. Where's the fire? Where's the fun? Where's the rolling? Where's the
pop-up
running?
targets
Where's
were
the
pretty fun with when you qualify with your M16 and basic training. They're pop-up targets.
what?
Yeah,
That's
they're
weird.
like they're olive drab silhouettes that pop up out of the ground between 50 and
That sounds
300
fun.
meters away. Yeah,
That sounds really fun.
randomized targets. It's a lot of fun.
We had some. Well, I don't know. See, I don't. We didn't have pop. We just had like the one big piece of thing with the 3 different little things on it. Yeah, wow.
Oh, the
worse.
simulated-
Yeah.
the
yeah,
simulated
distances.
distance?
Yeah. That was really dumb. That play.
Uh,
Well, because I'm blind and I'm legally blind in one eye. It's like I can't.
Those are so easy to cheat too.
Well,
you know?
then we had and then once I got to my base, we had red sight. So it's like, who cares? Well, no, yeah. Once we got
Yeah, the
red
red
sights,
dots.
it's kind of just
Yeah.
over. The M68, yeah, red dot. But moving on. Well, we're reminiscing about our old military days.
Oh,
We're not.
It sounds like the Legion in here.
Yeah, no. If you're thinking about, if you're listening to this, or you know
We're
anybody
gonna
that is,
start playing
you can talk
bingo.
to. If they want to
Oh.
join the military, convince them to not join.
Drink some cheap beer and pull some pull tabs in a smoky room.
If you're listening to this and you work for the VA, quit your job and go work for a real medical community. Sorry. But moving on. Cannabis. That is a huge, huge difference from anywhere else we could be living right now in this country.
No one does weed quite like Colorado.
Yeah, it's a little dry, which is so weird. But that's
the
It
cure's
tastes
a little
good, though.
dry. But
that's the climate.
That's what
That's
happened.
the climate.
Yeah.
I miss sticky icky. I miss sticky.
Well, I mean, you got 40% humidity here on average. What are you going to do?
Sticky.
You can't even keep the humidity up indoors out here. It's so bad.
No, you can't. Like, if you don't have a cap on a bottle of water, like, it's gone in a couple hours. Okay, that might be a little extreme. Like, I mean, like I said, I
You
lived in
will
Albuquerque.
lose water from a cup, though,
Yeah.
if you just leave it out.
No,
Yeah.
we do it on purpose here. Like, I did have some up here on the windsill till the cat knocked them off on my head. But we just sit cups around all the time, just full of water, and like leave pans with
like in
water in
that
it.
Signs movie.
Well, no, it adds humidity to the air. It
I'm
just-
wondering if Maya didn't knock these cups down herself, because I have yet to see a cat, and she keeps talking about one.
Oh,
No, the cat's around.
the cat is real.
You
The
guys
cat,
are...
The cat is
Daniel
real.
has just been gaslighting you this whole time.
No, Maya, the
Maya,
cat's
where's
real.
your cat at?
Yeah.
well, it's
You know the one without the tail?
yeah, it's Manx. Those are things. It's Manx, and it's in the other room, but it's a scaredy cat. It is a very scared cat, but it's my precious boo boo, and I love him. I love her. I guess I love.
Leave it to Chris to take a household pet and turn it into the plot of Shutter Island.
Yeah, I'm just saying I haven't seen an animal anywhere. Except for Maya.
Hold on. Like there's got to be. There is no hair anywhere. I cleaned
I
up
don't,
way
I don't
too well
see
today.
any pet hair.
I cleaned up well.
No, Maya, the cat's really here. You know.
There's no way I cleaned that well.
No,
there
you
is like
did
gotta be
clean
a
that
cat
well,
turd in
Maya.
here.
You did clean that
There's
well.
a cat turd in here somewhere, I promise. That cat hides them all over the place. It will get itself trapped in a box just to leave behind a turd. I think it's funny because I laugh sometimes.
Maya, that's you.
Oh, is
You're
that me?
doing that stuff.
Oh no.
No,
This is
Maya,
Fight
Maya.
Club.
No, Maya.
I mean, you know what? I might literally be that crazy. That is honestly a possibility at this stage.
When we
'Cause
came home,
I've
you were
been-
crapping in a box. I was just not sure why.
Wow, this is spiraling. Let's move on.
Spiraling. No, like the VA has prescribed me, I think, 9 different medications so far.
The
Yeah.
VA likes to prescribe things.
Yeah, it's kind of a running joke I'm finding out that the VA just is like, oh, you didn't like that? Here, try these 8 other things. Oh, that didn't work for you and you cut yourself? Oh, here, try this too.
Isn't
That's
that
the same
just
thing.
like antidepressants in general, though? Isn't that
This
how-
is an antidepressant.
Well-
I'm going through beta blockers,
Just-
SSRI, melatonin, different kinds of SSRIs, antidepressants, mood stabilizers. There's like all kinds of
just
stuff. that you're
anything
throwing-
to mess with your brain chemistry, though? They kind of just give you some.
Yeah,
and,
but
oh,
you know what
didn't
they're
like
telling
that?
these doctors, and they're teaching these doctors that cannabis and the side effects of cannabis, like, oh, well, your sleep's disturbed because of like withdrawal symptoms of cannabis because your tolerance is too high, or this is a symptom of the strain or some of the effects of like bad weed and stuff, and that's what's affecting. I'm like, Doc, I'm talking about the same effects been going on my head since I was a child, not since the past 2 years I've been smoking weed.
But see, you're very easy to pigeonhole, so it's something that the doctors can do and get a quick paycheck.
Yeah, it must be nice. I don't know. No, but the VA doctors aren't quick paycheck. They're student doctors. Most of the times you see a doctor at the VA, you're seeing student doctors. They're only residents. They're only there for a year.
I remember Roudabush over in Indianapolis. They were attached to the IU medical school.
Almost all VAs are learning hospitals. You can kind of try to get out of network, but see, I did a means test. I don't have to pay for any care. All my care is completely covered for free. But the thing is they don't want to actually give people like me good care because they're not going to pay people out of network. So I'm just screwed unless I have a bunch of money. Free health care to vets is an absolute lie. Wow, that's a first great opening episode. Moving on, cannabis out here is nice because that's what a lot of veteran programs out here, pro vet, pro cannabis, helping with PTSD and stuff.
We are seeing a new breed of veteran service organization out here, I'm finding. We had the old generation of veteran service organizations that mostly got started because of World War II.
Yeah.
They were to celebrate the Great Wars, was the original intention of these veteran service organizations. There's not a lot of World War I vets around. In fact, there are zero. The last one died about 2 years ago. Now we have a bunch of World War II vets, and in the coming years, these organizations have had trouble recruiting members.
Well, they don't serve the same purpose. These aren't long haul wars anymore. You don't have that battle brother thing. You don't get deployed with the same people all the time. People are coming, going quick enlistments and everything else. We don't have these long haul deployments.
People can sign for as little as 2 years.
I mean, I signed for 6 and got out for like 2.5. I short change.
Yeah, I signed for 4 and got out in 2.
But
you just did everything you needed to do there.
Yeah.
You thought it was going to take you 6 and 4 years, but
But it only took 2 and 2.5.
Yeah.
But these new veteran service organizations are more community based. They're trying to teach veterans how to grow their own medicine.
Yeah.
How to cope with that.
Well, actual medicine, because like I'm saying, I need help with some stuff. I don't have combat PTSD or anything, but I've got some. There's
PTSD,
PTSD. Trauma, and I have some trauma, and I'm having trouble dealing with a lot of things, and I'm not really sure what kind of help I'm getting because it seems like people are just playing around with things, and like doctors are like, I wonder what this will do. I wonder what this will do. And like cognitive testing, and like they don't really have anything. They're like, well, you need to not smoke weed for us to test you. And I'm like, that's cool, but you got to promise me not to call the cops when I freak out because I don't have my medicine because you guys give me poison. And it's like they just keep throwing medicine at you. And these groups out here are like demanding something finally. They're not just like, oh, let's have this little club for veterans. Like, let's actually get some true care. And if you aren't going to give it to us, we're going to get it done. And it's like, it's nice. It's very nice out here.
In my experience, most veterans are very pro-cannabis. Doesn't matter political alignment or affiliation. Veterans just say that marijuana works.
Yeah, no, it does. And even non-vets, it's good. Like, oh, God, we're going on vets about so much. Okay, I'm dropping the vet thing. Chris, give us something non-vet. What cannabis and you? What's been the big thing you've seen about cannabis out here?
Well, out here, I don't know. It's just there's a lot less violence around it,
What do you mean?
Like, people aren't getting shot over it, or, people aren't making crazy
Wait, who was shooting who
decisions
back in Indiana?
Cops are shooting people.
You're just saying, like, the cops are shooting people? Like,
yeah.
Are you just talking about the drug war, right?
They're just kicking down doors and shooting
so the
people,
drug war
right?
literally not being here makes...
I mean, clearly, I was abused by the cops my whole, being a white boy from Indiana, but... That was a joke.
Yeah.
I don't want to get letters.
I wish I
realize I am checking my privilege as we speak. But,
So it's
just a lot less stress about it,
It's amazing how that is. Like, just the fact
Yeah,
that I can
there's all
just
these-
drive down the road and just walk up to the counter and just be like, yeah, I'd like a gram of this, and I'd take an eighth of that. And, it's like, what? What am I doing? Did I just, I'm paying so little here for just selection and quality, and everyone's competing. There's signs. There are weed there's dispensaries that are sponsoring highway cleanliness. And
That's a
this
pretty
part of the
big-
highway is sponsored by.
No, I've seen Green Solution sponsoring highways, the health center.
Well, they can't do
Silver Stem.
traditional advertising, right? So they
No,
gotta.
you'd be surprised. There are radio ads.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure that a certain percentage of the listenership are above 21 to make sure that it's not a station that's catering to
How much
children.
advertising do you think you really need to do as a dispensary out here?
It depends on if you want to stick out amongst
is
your
the
competitors.
comedian?
There's a million
there's-
dispensaries out here.
No, the cool thing is about cannabis is once you go to a store and you try their stuff, you instantly know if you ever want to go back or not.
Well, that was
Yeah,
a
the-
Doug
But I mean,
Stanhope bit. I think.
you're not going into a store and dropping like $500-600 like you would like back in Indiana when I went.
Hey,
I
speak
wanted
for
to buy
yourself.
cannabis.
I have sold
Well-
lots of weed.
Hold on. Like I'm fresh here, right? And so I've been, shopping around, just trying to learn the industry without reading into it, not reading anybody else's opinion, just trying to figure out what
Okay.
exactly is going on here.
And what has Maya found since she's come out here?
Oh, shit. Shit. You know what? What people call things like there's this one store, and I don't go a lot of places because I'm an agoraphobe a little bit, so I've been, and I don't like giving my ID to people because I think I just want to go buy something. I don't need to give you my ID that has like my mail marker on it and my old picture and everything. It's like, come on now. I don't like. I feel that it belittles me, and I don't like that high security setting because it feels like a prison. And that gets me a little paranoid, being locked into those dark windows, and you're just kind of closed off. That freaks me out just a little bit. And hold on. So, but my opinion comes from the product, really, and. Like, I thought purple and what hybrid means and the colors and what people call things and the strains and nothing means nothing. Nope. It's all about who made it, who processed it, who grew it. Was it machine processed or hand processed? Was it dry machine processed? Because if they didn't do it right, it's going to all these little tiny intricate things, and they're things that they're not advertising, which means the cannabis industry out here is no different than the vaping industry anywhere else in the country. It's the exact same thing.
Well, it takes time to set up standards.
No. I'm sorry. You know what? Actually, I'm lying. It's worse. It's worse. You know why? Because it's only one state, so it's just tiny. Like it's cordoned off, right? And so in vaping, everyone kind of attacked bad chemicals, bad practices, and was just like, don't be a dick and try to do their best to try to build like self-police community here because it's so freaking controlled. And like you could make a vape rig and vape gear and stuff in China. You could have that made in China and ship it to the United States, right? Mm-hmm. And you could make it anywhere in the country. The thing is, you can only grow a weed here. You can only grow cannabis here. You can only do it in certain ways. And so it's this highly controlled and arbitrarily like limited market, and so it's this weird, really control. There's not enough players in the game to
Well,
set
there's
industry
not.
Hopefully,
standards.
that's going to change.
That
Well,
is-
with all
that
these
is changing.
states.
That's well, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You asked me what I've seen, and
Okay.
I'm telling you what I've seen.
Fair
okay,
enough.
My observations as is right now. How it's gonna be, what it really is. I'm not sure. I'm just saying. I've only been here for a couple months now.
You got to
okay?
remember, though, the number one priority with this marijuana enforcement and with the Marijuana Enforcement Division has been to keep the DEA from kicking down our doors.
Oh, and I fully understand that quid pro quo compromise that everything's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I get that argument. I
and
really
it's going
do.
to take a long time to move away from that. It really is.
There's still a lot of people who are going to use violence to stop it from happening around the country. We gotta.
Yeah, I say I understand that argument, and it's the one that's working right now, right? I ain't gonna argue against it necessarily just yet. I don't know enough, but
Yep.
my
And
opinion of it.
you're
hold on.
absolutely
but
right,
my opinion,
Maya.
but for everyone else, for like listeners, a lot of people, and I was really into vaping. I got really, really into vaping, and
Oh, we all
everything.
did.
Yeah, so,
I
you know,
mean, you too
Oh,
did.
yeah.
well, and then my good friend and my
two
old
of us
business
did,
partner
yeah.
Evan McMahon started his own juice company, and I was with him and started helping. I helped him in the very beginning get organized to fight the Indiana vaping law and everything else. Like I was there when that law was going down. I was reading that law every iteration
I
of
was
it. And there for
long
the
gone into Colorado when they were talking that.
yeah. But the point is that I got really intimate with it, and so like for me to that's something really easy for me to talk about for maybe the listeners to compare what the cannabis industry here looks like to maybe an industry back home, right? So the vaping industry would be a very, very easy comparison.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. There's a lot
I would disagree.
Well, one thing I noticed about vape shops is there were a lot of people. It was just like 4 friends putting their money together, renting out a retail space, and starting. And that's kind of what a lot of these little cannabis stores are like too, especially in like the mountain towns. And
Yeah. It's
They're
just
just kinda-
it's but how the industry works and how the consumer reacts to it and who gets to decide what, and it is a lot of people just doing whatever. The thing is that there's a lot of people also that are getting into it that don't know anything about stoner culture or anything else. They're just like, oh, I like these colors and I like these names and that's pretty and I'm going to do this. And like, there's this one
There's
company
only
that,
so many people who could raise $1 million in funds without
Well,
a bank in order to start. A
No,
dispensary.
I'm not. I'm not judging anything. I'm just saying that's just kind of the end result. Is that there's a miscommunication? Then is that me coming out here and I'm going off my lifetime of what I kind of have learned over the years of stoner culture, and I've never really gotten that into it or whatever.
Well,
and so I come out here and I see and I see all these words being used, and these words being thrown around, and so I'll read an article saying all this stuff, and I walk in and somebody's using the words sativa and indica and hybrid, completely opposite of 3/4 of the rest of the industry. That's a little off-putting. That's a little weird. Like, what else are they talking about differently? Are they saying CBD? Are they honestly saying the right CBD when they're saying that? Are they honestly using all the terms right? Can they even follow the law right if they don't know what any of the terms the industry's been using for at least the past decade mean?
Well,
Like that's a weird thing because
You got to remember that stoner culture isn't ubiquitous. Colorado stoner culture, Colorado in general, is kind of in its own bubble.
No, and I'm speaking towards, so like when I walk into most of these shops, there's like an average, right? There's like an average even here. Most people are doing this. Like when someone has this price range and you go in and you expect to pay this much for about a gram of, say, concentrates, and you end up getting half a gram.
Yeah, sometimes
It's
you get
labeled extremely small, printed on the back of the package. It's not up front and obvious.
This is
And
sounding like a very specific thing that happened to you. Where
Yeah,
you
it was
picked-
very
You
frustrating.
picked out something you thought was a gram.
All right, so
Well, no, and hold on. I'm not picking and complaining. I'm just saying for comparison, that's what I'm seeing.
Well-
it looks
well,
like
since
because
we're
there's a lot of
referencing
good
that
stuff.
Definitely
particular
have to-
incident, let's
Because there's a lot of good things too.
let's
Because
give
that
s-
product,
let's give
you know
some
what?
background
I
to
don't
the-
complain about it now. No, hold on, no. I don't complain about it now because that half gram is better than 2 grams of other stuff.
So what Maya experienced is a process called pre-packaging in the industry. It's not always practical to weigh things out in front of every customer for every transaction, even though it'd be the easiest for record-keeping purposes. So generally, concentrate companies like to package shatter by the gram, or wax by the gram, or live resin by the gram. However, this particular brand that Maya went with packaged by the half gram. Here's the reason why. Maya, what's more expensive, shatter or gold?
Shatter. By far.
The answer is it's about price parity. Shatter typically runs about $20 a gram. So does gold. So how do you sell something that's literally worth its weight in gold to customers who make ordinary amounts of money?
You cut it down.
Yep, you cut it.
Yep.
You cut your product. And that's how a lot of companies have tried to maintain their margins is
But you know what?
Can you sell
I
a
will-
$12 half gram to somebody or a $20 gram?
You know, I will say though, I see a lot of single joint sales and single cone sales and everything
Sometimes
else.
you get them for free.
Yeah,
Just
and
like,
you just
yeah, here's a joint.
Yeah, here you go. Oh, you bought 2 grams. Here's 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's never like that. But
Some places are like
they
that.
give you 1/8 cones. These aren't joints. These are 1/8 cones.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
even if
like
it's
super
shake, whatever.
cones?
Like no, most of the times I go to buy a joint or a cone. It's a whole 1/8 in the thing. It's like what? That's like the bare minimum these people sell all over the place. A lot of
The
places
largest
I've
I've
gone,
seen
but
is 2.5.
Yeah, I usually see about a gram joints.
It's usually half gram
And that's-
pinners and gram fatties.
I'm maybe saying the wrong equation. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But the half gram, you got to start talking about numbers. You weird number people. You engineer mind weird number speakers. But no, that half gram, that stuff is amazing though. I've teetotaled that stuff because it's so wonderful and like
That brand, I know a lot of the extractors who work for that company personally. They are top notch.
you know what? I got a question then. Do they separate by hand or with the tumble machines and with the lubrication and all that?
So when you have a very large company that's processing a large agricultural commodity like that, if you're going to use a hand trim crew from start to finish, it's going to be very expensive. So you'd end up having more of a boutique experience in your shop. This is where a bud tender's trying to boost their average ticket sales. What?
A what?
A what? What?
A
which word?
bud tender?
A
Like
bud
a
tender.
bartender.
Yeah, a bud tender. Yeah.
So the person behind the counter. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
They're
that
like a
term might
bartender.
not really be
That's-
that.
You are
didn't
correct,
really-
Maya.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really didn't hear it before I came to Colorado. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bud tender.
So
Good
a
to
bud
define.
tender is like a bartender who sells you weed.
Yeah.
They are the liaison between the customer and the store so that the customer can confidently make the right choice about their marijuana experience, even if they've never used before.
So, but are you
It's
saying
a-
it's infeasible for a large scale operation to trim by hand?
Yes. It just
If they
depends
wanna
on how
keep
many
their price
laborers.
low.
Yeah. Depends on how many laborers you want to hire.
But okay. Well, I started peeking into because you were talking about some different things about the clarity and the quality of the product, and the lubrication that they use on these machines, and the over lubrication of the trimming machines, the tumble machines, and all that stuff with the blades and everything else, and the heat created, and everything else can highly affect the quality of the thing. Where hand trimming, you don't
highly
have a
doubt-
lot of those problems.
I highly doubt that you have a huge lubrication problem. Maybe there's a heat problem, and the largest problem cited about hand or auto trim machines, as they're so often called, is they tend to rough up the flower. So all
Beat
those
it up, yeah,
so
it's
all
just-
those trichromes that you want in your weed that have all the THC in them and other cannabinoids, that ends up as keef on the bottom of the auto trim machine.
So that gets repackaged and sold to us in different ways. So like,
And
that's
keef really doesn't sell very well as a product in dispensaries.
well,
oddly
they
enough.
turned into something else.
They
but
usually
like,
turn it into rosin.
the thing is that like that's a really weird concept to me. That like there's this weird thing, this nonchalant attitude about maybe chemicals and lubrication and maybe some. When it comes to vaping, though, in the vaping industry. They're doing panics on popcorn lung and everything else, and
No,
Reddit led an army after companies on what if you didn't list every single ingredient and where you got it from. You were driven out of business. People didn't want to do business with you. You were gas station e-juice.
You don't think that happened out here? That happened out here pretty substantially.
Yeah, did it?
That popcorn lung article got circulated quite a bit because a lot of these vaporizer companies that sell these disposable vape oil cartridges,
Yeah.
they use artificial flavorings as well.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's not a product I'd really wanted to look into.
Yeah, they do, especially with distillate cartridges because
Oh, that's an
distillate by
issue.
itself just has a light hash taste to it.
Oh.
So
Well,
they're so damn convenient, though. I
Are
love,
they?
Yeah, just the little pen cartridges.
I prefer the raw
tolerance-
cartridges.
Your tolerance compared, like
It's
you know how many
like
of those I'd have
hitting
to
a
go
dab.
through those. Have you seen how many I've taken since you've
it's
been
a half
here?
gram though.
Nah, out-of-towners can handle distillate cartridges. Anyone can handle distillate cartridges as long as you're the type of person who marijuana agrees with their system. These are the kind of things that out-of-towners buy so they can sneak into concerts, you know?
Yeah. That's I can see
Great
like
for
the,
a hike. Yeah.
No, I'd like
If you
no
don't
great
want
for
your
high.
own-
I'd get like the M420 or the I4. I got the I420. I'd just throw that in my backpack. Have you seen my backpack?
Well, that's
I
a,
got
just-
take?
that's a
This is-
steamroller.
This is
that's
like a pen this big with a cartridge that big.
Pish posh.
Because
Go big or go
everyone
home.
can see how big my hands are, but roughly it's the size of a pen.
generally these cartridges
And-
have between 1/4 of a gram and 1/2 a gram of distillate or oil.
And you can just you can smoke on it, just press the button and inhale, and it's a good hit. And you can just slip it in your pocket, no one knows.
That's pretty handy. But
It is.
Yeah, you can hit them in a movie theater without getting caught.
Yeah. People would be like, "Whoa, what's that smell?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, what is that smell? That's weird, right?"
Ooh, that smell! Can't you smell that smell?
Like, yeah, you just sit in the back and you could get away with it.
That's
bet.
fun.
Yeah.
There's like, well, I like, you know what I like about out here, specific in Colorado. I've seen in a lot of the products I was interested in buying when I was smoking back in Indiana, because I mean, I smoked a lot in Indiana too, but a lot of ditch weed and a lot of stemmy, seedy crap. But you know,
Very different market.
oh god, but. The innovation in some of the technology, the smoking technologies, like there's always that
Yeah.
joke of stoner engineering, and I'm really sick and tired of just straight up like, look at how many percolators I put in this bong, look how many crazy weird curves I put in my bong. I don't care. Is it comfortable? Does it work? Is it solid? But some of the innovation, some of the new things like the M420 and the I420.
Have you seen those collapsible silicon bongs?
Yes, those are amazing.
Yeah.
And then the multi-pieced ones and the ones you can, just some of the cool stuff. And I like Nectar Collector, the company, not the cheap, crappy $12 from China ones. Those are those little straw ripoffs. Please, for the love of God, if you ever buy anything, do not buy those. They are junk.
Buy high quality glass.
Yeah, buy high quality glass with like a company name on it, because you're gonna get what you pay
There's
for,
a-
like the quality quartz, the quality glass. But they make some really cool stuff. Those Nectar Collectors, yeah, they're like $400. But you know what? Like I paid
Oh.
$65 for a quartz straw, and it is amazing.
You can find quality glass for a lot less than $400.
No, I'm talking about the Nectar Collector. You know what I'm talking about,
Well,
right?
I know
That
what you're
big,
talking about.
Huge
Yeah.
water straw.
Well, when I worked as a bud tender, I would sell those. They usually ran about $200. They had a water chamber in them. But nectar collectors, honestly, you want to use the highest grade product with, so that you don't need to water filter it when you're smoking it.
Well,
You don't
I
want to
like a
put
little
water.
It's
You don't want to put water in anything you want to take on the go. That's just how
Well,
I
oh,
feel.
Well,
No,
and
no,
it's
no.
hard to get the water out of there, isn't it?
well, no, it
Not-
doesn't
not
necessarily come
particularly.
out. No, but it's a novelty thing. No, it's not
It's
the most
not a
efficient. but
novelty. It's got a very useful purpose.
I didn't mean novel. I guess innovative, but no, it's very useful. And I'm not talking about just on the go, but it's
It
a
is
super
novel,
cool thing.
not
It
a
is-
novelty.
Yes, it is novel, not a novelty, and it is. I like that. There's a lot of really
You're gonna get
cool
letters, Maya.
stuff going on out here, and a lot of really cool ideas of just different ways of smoking, because it's
I
not
got a
so
business
stigmatized.
card the other day. It had 2 dablicators on there and 2 dabbers on there. You just punched it out of the steel.
Oh, wicked!
Yeah.
I got one of those grindy cards. I got one of those for
The
20
little
past
cheese
4 and more.
graters.
Cheese graters.
Yeah.
Those are awesome.
I got one from 20 past 4 and more, and it's the only one I got, and it still sits in the wallet, in my
Sometime-
purse, and it's like I'll never use it 'cause I don't smoke dry herb anymore. But it's like that thing is just cool.
It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Like I could use that to shave wood, for like kindling, for like starting a fire.
Yeah.
I could I don't know. I could probably kill an animal with that. Like that little metal card's super handy.
If
like
you
a
ever need to
survival
grate
tool.
cheese,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
Like
Just in the
like
field.
great
I
I
cheese on
wouldn't
the
use it
grill.
on weed
Yeah.
after grating some cheese, though.
just making a little pizza in your car.
What
and
happened if you're like? What happened if your feet are really, really like dry and like calloused, and you just like?
I mean, you could do it. Yeah.
I would suggest cocoa butter, but that's just me.
Yeah, cocoa butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally,
Yeah, okay.
to
Yeah,
hijack the thread for a moment.
That's a really nice thing. I don't moisturize a whole lot. I witch hazel and aloe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like to just keep it, aloe with nothing else, just pure aloe. And it's not the fake aloe, because if you get super cheap aloe, it's not actually aloe. It's weird. It's crazy.
When I do spring for lotion, I like the
like
high
wasabi.
quality stuff.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of wasabi's just green horseradish.
Yeah, it's awful. And because you're like, oh, horseradish, and then you eat wasabi. It's like, oh yeah, it's the same. And then you go to try to eat real wasabi, and you eat it in the same kind of portions you normally would, and then you sit in the toilet for 4 days. Yeah.
That image of Maya brought to you by the Foreign and Domestic Podcast.
Yeah.
And by
hi,
counterfeit
guys.
foodstuffs
Yeah.
in our food system.
Yes. Like,
So Maya, what is the most innovative thing you've seen in weed culture so far?
containers.
Containers.
I have seen some of the most innovative container solutions
Interesting answer.
ever. Because you know what? The government out here has forced them to put so many different kinds of containers. I have never seen more innovation on child proofing anywhere. And
Blowing away the pharmaceutical industry.
oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah.
okay, those little RX bottles have been the same for
The state
eons.
of Colorado spends a lot of time thinking about those little containers.
Like the
there's
bags,
laws-
like you can't leave the store without the bag being sealed with the receipt being like accessible.
You
like,
can.
all these
if
weird
the
things.
container is sealed just as good.
Or if you are an infirmed medical patient and have a note from your doctor saying that you do not have the physical dexterity.
Are we in school? Are we in school right now?
I am
do
here
I
to
need
school
permission?
you,
Life
Maya.
is a school.
I
what?
am here to school
Life
you,
is
Maya.
a school.
Okay, think about that.
Sit
What's a school?
there and take some
Think about
learning,
what
Maya.
school. A school has not always existed. A school is an institution of learning. A school is an institutionalization.
So now
You
you're
are at
bringing
my
us to school.
You're at my
Yeah.
school, Maya, and class is in session.
You ain't my teacher. I'll treat you just like I did any teacher in my school history. I got kicked out of my third grade, third or fourth. No, was it fourth? Yeah. No, was it third? Fourth grade class. I had to spend the last 4 months of that grade in the principal's office because they called my teacher Hitler's wife and said she was twice as bad as him. But I was cracking jokes way early, man. Fuck your authority. Your authority ain't shit to me.
Hey,
Oh,
I got a
man.
question for you, Maya.
Yo, what up?
I'm noticing there's a lot of black plastic shards on your carpet,
Yeah.
and I'm just curious.
Well, okay, so some people that follow me on Instagram maybe might have noticed that I like to decorate with records. And I had done it at my last apartment, and I had redecorated the main living room wall here with records. You just pin a little nail, and then you set the records up there, and they're really old, crappy records. And if anyone cries about it, I don't care. Go cry on a record.
Yeah,
And-
cry.
So I just kind of nailed them up on the wall, and we were going to do this really cool thing. And I kind of had an anxiety attack, freaked out, and ripped them all off the wall, and they exploded everywhere. I had to patch all the little holes and everything else and clean up the mess. And I can't get rid of all the pieces of records.
All right.
Yeah. I have
wasn't
swept the carpet
expecting-
30 times. And, yeah, anxiety attack destroyed 70, 60-year-old records. And, yeah.
You need
I wasn't
you need a
expecting a
Roomba.
story.
Oh, no, I would destroy that, too.
No. You just let it be.
Satan.
and it-
No,
and it
Satan
does-
lives in that device.
No.
Roomba. Who named something Roomba?
Roomba's your
That sounds like
friend.
an exercise, man. I don't want to Roomba my carpets.
It's named after a dance.
Plus, you shouldn't sweep your carpets that often. It agitates them too much, and most of these cheap carpets, what all these homes are filled with, it breaks them down, creating way too much dust, and it breaks apart the carpet, and you're destroying things.
yeah, but it saves you so much time. I mean,
Time.
And you get to
Like-
feed it Cheetos and stuff.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why
It's
would-
like a
pretty
little
cool.
pet.
Why would you? That just sounds wasteful. You're
It
talking
is
about
wasteful,
waste,
but I mean,
and you're filling
so
your
is the
house full
human
of extra
experience.
dust.
I mean, you were just going to eat that Cheeto when it would poison you.
Why not throw
I
it
don't
on the
eat
ground
Cheetos
and feed
really.
it to
Like
the-
that when we took LSD the other day, they went to the girls went to the store and got some of those fire Cheetos. I didn't realize they ate half the bag while tripping on LSD, and I felt like shit the next day because MSG. But it was almost worth it.
MSG is just salt. It's fancy salt.
Oh,
If you
good
put-
lord.
Monosodium glutamate.
If you
Hold
put
on,
salt
hold on,
in
hold on.
tomato soup
Okay,
while you're heating it
I
up,
made
you make
once
MSG.
upon a time made an alcoholic beverage, and you used yeast and yeast extract, yeast, MSG, monosodium glutamate, some of all the same stuff. I know what it does, and I know just like with say gluten or was it the gluten allergy, right?
Yeah.
That everyone gluten free and stuff, and it affects some people. there's other people out there that are allergic to MSG. MSG to me makes me feel like I have joint lockup, I have heart palpitations, and I'm literally allergic to the super high concentrated salt MSG. It's not just like salt. It's like saying like, oh my God, don't argue with me on this. I have
if you
to
have
figure
an
it out.
allergy to it.
Kiko Man's never going to
Otherwise-
sponsor us at this point.
Well, Kiko,
It's
I-
only
I,
bad
I
if
don't
you
like
have an
Kiko Man.
allergy.
Kiko Man's the healthy stuff. I have LaChoy in the fridge because it's going to kill me before I'm 50.
All right, there goes LaChoy's sponsorship too.
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
love
they'll pull it
LaChoy.
out.
I like House of Sang.
No one carries LaChoy around here, by the way. This
No.
city is a little too healthy. It was hard to find LaChoy. We had to order it online. I
I've
had
seen
to have
some Safeways
LaChoy
with it.
shipped in.
But
This
usually
place is
the
too
Asian-
healthy. It's
the
too
Asian
healthy.
food is just like a
Like,
little section.
we go outside, and right across,
One of the
like,
healthiest states in the
right by our
nation.
balcony is a Freddy's. It looks like a fast food joint. It's kind of like a simple, like an In and Out with like burgers from like Steak and Shake a long time ago when they were still good. And we
They
once
do have Steak and Shake out
every
here, by the way.
I don't care. I don't want it. They turn into crap.
They did.
They
so
lost
long
the fast
with that
food wars.
Steak and Shake
Yeah. So no more.
sponsorship.
You know, I don't care about fast food. I want corporations' money. Yeah, I do. Give me your money. But but the thing is that like Freddy's, we every payday we get Freddy's for lunch. We go and we get 2 original doubles. Sometimes we'll do the California doubles, and we cover them in Frank's hot sauce. And that's what it's like so exciting, but it's literally not. It doesn't seem unhealthy. Like everything's fresh right here. The bread, we go over Kneaders, which is kind of like a Panera, and like Kneaders compared to Panera, oh my God, so much cheaper, and the quality is out of this world. Like they have some of the best bread I've had in
Because
years.
people know how to cook. So if you go to a restaurant, there's an unwritten rule that they got to do a better job preparing your food than you could at home, or else you're just not going to go.
I guess so, because there's a couple things out here that are kind of crap and overpriced, but
A lot of it is
The
because they're
burger
sustained by touristy people like us,
The
like
burger
Santiago's.
I don't know what that is. Wahoo's is decent. Garbanzo's, I would say, is a very interesting place. I like their palate. It's pretty good. It's a little pricey. Everything just seems pricey out here, but that might just be the cost of living effect out here. And I haven't
there's a
adjusted
steep
yet.
cost of living.
Well,
out here.
and I'm living in a very nice part of town.
Interesting thing though, groceries are cheaper out here than they are out
You know what?
in Indiana.
You know what's really like? I don't go to grocery stores anymore, but when the girls go grocery shopping, like they come home with so much more than they intended to get, and they're like, "Guess how much we spent?" I'm like, "What? You spent like what? $250?" And they're like, "We spent $57." I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
Are
if
you
I,
kidding me?"
If I look at my receipt and it doesn't say I saved at least 40%, I start getting pissed.
Yeah, I guess that's how shopping out here works.
Yeah, you got to download there's an app you download.
Wait, you work for like grocery store people. What do you know? Like, what secrets you got about out here, man?
Oh, he's got good tricks.
You just got to chase the sales, really. That's
Yeah.
and, make sure they're actually on sale, because a lot of times they'll just sell it expensive and always have it on sale.
Yeah.
So that's no good. I don't know. I mostly do like organic stocking now, so a lot of times it's just too expensive.
What do you mean?
It's more than I would spend. I wouldn't spend,
He stocks
$12.
products
Like, what do
like-
you mean, like organic? Like, you do like local produce or?
It's the company I work for is an organic food distributor. So, like local organic companies that just they make
Prepackaged foods.
yeah they make like organic hot pockets or
Kombucha.
something,
Oh,
and they just make it like real small batch. They send it to my company, which sends it to different grocery stores.
Do you get like free samples? You ever eat any of it?
No, I don't get any of that.
Oh man, what kind of job is that?
It's a pretty crummy job.
Wait, aren't you like an engineer in like Hobbit or something?
I went to engineering school for a few years, but I was never past like sophomore level.
I know. Well, okay. Well, what was that? Okay, what sophomore level mean at an engineering school?
It's so many credits, It's
like,
based
but
on
does an engineering school work differently than like a regular school? Like, would your prereqs at an engineering school be different than at a regular college? Like, you said engineering
basically,
school is it
there's-
yeah.
special?
Well,
There's 200
School
level
of Engineering.
classes. There's 300 level classes and
I have
400 level
I have
classes.
no idea how colleges work, by the way.
Well, I never got past like the second row of math classes. You
Oh,
know?
okay.
I never got past like
Yeah.
Calc 2.
Did you ever get like into like the special like really cool engineering stuff?
No, I had like exactly one actual engineering class where you were designing stuff, and I didn't design shit.
I understand why you'd leave, because it's like, when's the fun happen? When do I
Wow.
actually learn new stuff?
You gotta fucking love engineering if you're gonna be an engineer. It's gotta be like
Also,
everything you
the
love.
Why?
engineering
Why?
school doesn't really prepare
'Cause
you for industry.
you
They
gotta-
teach you a lot of antiquated and
Well,
outdated.
no,
Well, they
you're
just,
saying
like-
to be an engineer. Do you mean to go through the school,
Yeah,
or to
to
actually
just
be okay?
Put all the work into it necessary to graduate engineering school.
But
You
that
get your
doesn't mean you're an engineer.
degree.
So to be a certified engineer, it takes a
You
lot of work.
Well, to be a certified engineer, you just need some kind of engineering degree. Like
But
there are
you need a
different
degree,
like
but you-
well, to be a
municipalities.
certified engineer,
I'm saying you
just
can
need
be-
to
no,
be
like-
hired as an engineer.
Yeah, there's
by
no
a
like
firm.
engineer license. It's just no company's going to hire you.
There's
as
the engineering basics
But-
exam.
Hold on,
mechanical
hold on.
engineer without a
What
mechanical
I'm saying is that
engineering
out
degree.
there, there's a whole bunch of people out there right now that are engineers and are probably smarter than most engineering school graduates that don't have any degree or anything, but they're still engineers. You can be an engineer
Well,
without
and
having some piece
That's
of
how
paper.
engineers started. They were seen as kind of a lower class worker because they were the people, shoveling coal into the machines and
Making the machines and
yeah,
fix
they
the
had to build the
machines
machines too,
yeah.
and they had to repair them
Yeah.
in an instant. And so they kind of, in the early 1900s, that's when they started like having schools for engineering, and
Filthy peasants.
yeah, and
Just can't
that's-
be naturals.
Well,
Why can't they just be naturals? Or Harry would say new types. Why can't they just be, just naturals? Like, you're probably a natural engineer. Why do you need a school to teach you how to engineer? Well, and that's the thing, is like all these competitions, all these schools and stuff, and like kids are just like, I want to go build a robot, so I'm going to learn how to build a robot, and I'm going to learn how to be an engineer. Like,
and-
I was a millwright. I'm the person that had to work after engineers. And I had to go put their buildings and their plans together. And so they would draw up these fantasies on paper. These absolute
I think you're
fantasies
talking
on
about
paper.
architects.
Just absolute fantasies.
Well, my dad he's an engineer, and he used to make fun of architects all the time and just call them cartoonists
These
because all they do is draw a pretty building.
No. These aren't. Sorry, I meant structures. I was putting, like, say, for instance, a 17,000-foot long surface conveyor belt for moving coal. And a primary crusher tower and a secondary crusher tower. So engineers designed this device. It's not a structure necessarily. It's a device. It's a device. So it was
Okay.
engineers.
Yeah.
And they put this fantasy down on paper, and they I don't know if they ever found out what kind of soil this stuff was going to be built on and everything else, and going on and on. That's not necessarily that conveyor belt, but in a lot of little ways.
Well, that's the civil engineer's
Field
job.
modifications needed. So the person putting it together, good luck. And you know what another problem was? Is that like they when you outsource things. So the engineering company, the company that hired the engineering company was sourced in America. They sent their ideas to China. China designed it, built half the steel, shipped it to the U.S., outsourced the other half of the steel to Mexico, who somehow in between all that, they like inverted the plans and all of the drawings and specs for the steel, so all the holes were in the opposite places. Everything was inverted.
Wow.
So when everything gets there, we have steel from 3 different places. Have no idea how Canada got in the mix. And then there's China steel and China designs, and there's some extra Mexico designs, but everywhere you see on every blueprint I ever looked at on my jobs was field modifications needed. Just like, we don't know how this is supposed to actually go together and be finished. You guys figure it out.
You can't plan everything
Globalization,
in the lab.
folks. That's globalization.
Oh, no, everything. No, it's
You got to be on the field to build it.
no, that's what paper engineers do. A true engineer would be like, no, I'm not going to work on that. I'm not going to put my name on that if you're not going to let me finish it because you're going to use inferior products to build my design. The engineers should have stood up for themselves years and years and years ago.
Well, we'll let the
They
IEEE
sold
know
out.
what your official position is on.
You should. Pansies. They need to stand up for their craft. Man, tell me to have to put stuff together. They're only paying me $45 an hour to do this stuff. Like, how much are they paying that engineer to design all this stuff?
Probably
he had to go through
about
school and stuff.
$125 an hour or so.
Yeah, okay,
if he's a contractor.
Yeah, so I'm getting paid $45 an hour to put his crap together. They're charging like probably $90 an hour for my ass. What? Like, who's really the skillful person here? Nobody is. Who needs a piece of paper and go to school to learn it? Like, what the hell, man? I never went to school. Like,
there's a lot of good engineering schools, though.
Yeah, there's a lot you have to learn in school. Like some engineering stuff.
engineering-
Like, where are you going to learn that in the real world? Where are you going to be able to go? Who's going to let you play with this shit?
Yeah.
At that level, like
Well-
I was building stuff. I was playing with big steel equipment, but no, some of the stuff you do with like robotics, some of that, even the testing equipment is hyper expensive.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well,
Yeah, they
the
don't want
first-
just anybody handling it.
The first school I went to my freshman year, which was my first freshman year, it was a really nice school, and it was real expensive too, though, because they just had all that equipment. You know, you had 3D printers you could just, fucking use whenever you wanted, or laser cutters, or they were really. And what was great about it is it was a really student-focused school. They weren't really doing research or anything. Like,
You know what I could do with that? You know
only
what I could do
goal-
with all those machines and all those little mines? You know what I could build with that?
Well, apply to Rose-Hulman.
Nah. Because you know what?
Go live in Terre Haute for years.
Because see, the thing is like
It's a charming community.
downstairs, I have a $650 saw sitting on a $200 stand. It's a dual bevel sliding saw, 12-inch. It's a dual bevel miter. And I can use that in every way it's designed to be used. I can put different blades on it and everything else. I can use that to build so many things. I never went to school. I can actually build stuff. I can, like, the concept, I'm not trying to, like, toot my own horn here, but what I'm saying is that, like, so, like, I can apply my knowledge. How can we get more people to apply it? Like, I want to build stuff. I want to do stuff. Like, where's all these college kids that know how to do all this robotic stuff? Like, I can work with the heavy, hard materials, with the metal, with the wood, the nail guns, the saws, all that really crazy shit you might not be comfortable with. You can work with the soldering irons and the lasers and the mind control units from Lego and everything else. And I'll build all the heavy, hard stuff. But I can also do the smart stuff. I can do finesse. Like, where's all these smart people that want to apply their smarts? Chemistry and stuff. Like, let's do stuff. I don't care what. Let's just do stuff, man. Like, who wouldn't want to watch us do stuff? Or, like, just who doesn't want to just do stuff? Oh, it costs money. No, it doesn't. Nothing costs money. Like, you're understanding
Nothing
that.
costs
We're
money.
No, it
We're
doesn't.
the only species who has to pay to live here,
Nothing costs money. That's what
Think about it. No,
she
think about it.
said.
Right now, there's a housing addition going in right there. There's 4 of them right around here. There are dumpsters full of chemicals, building supplies, materials, tools that are supposedly broken, not actually broken, that can be easily fixed or salvaged and then sold for other things.
The
Materials you can hunt
Anarchist
down.
Cookbook, brought to you by Maya.
I've dug through garbage before, and it's
No,
not quite the
Not
treasure
garbage.
trove.
Dumpsters. Construction site dumpsters are a different thing entirely. It's kind of illegal, I guess, maybe in some
Unless
places, but who cares?
the homeless
Depends on
people
if you
get to
ask
them
the
first.
foreman.
But what I'm saying is, for the fun things in life, the fun little things we want to do, we could funnel a lot of that stuff, right? Like, why could we not? And then beyond that, so we pay money for video games, and we pay money to these corporations to watch their entertainment. When we can entertain ourselves with our skills and our minds that we have, we could make money on Etsy and everything else, or just in our own communities making cool shit. Absolutely cool shit. Mm-hmm. Couldn't we? Or can't we?
I'm
are we
pro
just
cool
tooting
shit.
our own horn? Are we just a bunch of people talking to hot air for no reason? Are we sitting in this hot ass
That's
non-air
kinda-
conditioned room for no reason?
That's kind of how I always saw myself, just a lot of hot air escaping from a giant balloon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing going in, just stuff coming out. Yeah,
Yeah, just
Now, I have to say, for my platform, I am very pro cool shit. So, if anybody's against this cool shit idea, it's not me.
Okay,
It
well,
might be Chris. Are you against cool shit?
Well, I'm not breaking into dumpsters, but you guys do that.
oh,
and-
I'll dumpster dive all day long.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
while
well,
we're at work, instead of sending us a million Facebook messages, you can be digging through dumpsters.
well, no, and then when I'm really bored, I'll just come over to your house and fix it.
Yeah.
You guys want an enclosed garage? Done.
That's what
I'll do it.
That is on the docket.
You know, if you guys get me like connections and get me parties and hook me up with some like hot bitches and like, yeah.
I will hook
want-
you up with every hot bitch I know.
Oh no, man! No, don't call women that. I like cats though. I really like cats.
Yeah, so much you invented one. in your
I did
head.
not invent it. I mean, the Cookie Monster
We took
Snuggie
a smoke
exists.
break. We took a smoke break, and I still have yet to see this cat.
I will go get the
No,
boo-boo,
no.
and you will see the boo-boo. I will be bleeding at the end of this, but you will see the boo-boo, and she will see you, see the beard, freak the hell out, and run. I don't think, oh my God, has Boo-Boo ever seen a beard? Boo-Boo has never seen a bearded man. I don't think Boo-Boo's going to freeze.
Yeah, I'm sure cats really care about beards.
She
No,
freaked
no,
out
no.
when I shaved my head. She really did.
This cat likes to freak out about stuff.
Oh, she's a freaked out cat, but she's much better. Like I'm telling you, if you like, Chris Spangle knows how scared the boo
She
boo was
handled
upon a
my
day.
presence pretty well, and
Yeah,
she
well,
hadn't met me before.
You're
And I was just
sage-like,
kinda-
man. You're sage-like, and we were kind of tripping balls. So
Yeah,
like,
I was
that
kind
the
of
thing.
thundering around like a bull in the china shop, you know.
You think you were, but you're moving kind of like a hippo, and it's like its last death throes, and, like as it was
Hippo through
tranquilized,
quagmire.
and like it was just like.
Yeah, thanks, Maya.
You thought you were moving fast, but you were not. Okay, let's wrap this up. We've been going for like an hour or so,
Yeah.
and let's just because wrapping this up is going to take 20 minutes, I'm sure. Okay, last thoughts, Chris.
Everyone should watch Iron Fist. Don't listen to those bad reviewers because they only got the first 6 episodes, and it really goes places.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of good kung fu
Iron
fights.
Fist. Kung fu. Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be fresh next time we talk. So
Oh, all right.
All right. So you should buy your shatter by the full gram, not the half gram, because the bulk discount really matters, especially on those tiny quantities.
I'm going to disagree with that vehemently because those half grams are better than some of the full grams I've gotten anywhere else.
you can get a full gram of that stuff too, right? Or
No
not-
idea.
Not where that came from.
Well, you know what? I will say, buy it by the full gram, save the environment. My God, the waste out here.
Oh my God.
Colorado, get your act together, or you're going to
There's
pollute
no-
this world with leftover glass caps
Someone
and child
needs-
safety
and
products.
there's no outdoor trash cans either.
What?
Have you ever looked around trying to find an outdoor trash
Hey, there
can?
aren't any.
No, you can never find them.
Why
Indiana
not?
had them everywhere.
Okay, there are trash cans everywhere. There's still trash on the ground.
I remember-
Wait, there's less trash on the ground here. Wait, but it's windy. But it's windy. Why have trash can when the wind will just blow it away?
I don't think people litter as often out here as they do in
I remember
Indiana, though.
working at Meijer, and
Actually,
we had a trash can at the end of every aisle, and I can never find a trash can.
I threw out a cigarette out the car window within the first 2 weeks when we got here, and I
And
actually
then a
felt
wildfire
bad.
started.
No, I felt bad because nobody else does it.
Yeah,
and
you don't
nobody else
see a lot of litter.
You don't, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I've stopped doing it." I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Do we have a bottle in the car or something?" I just can't smoke in the car now because we don't have anywhere to put a cigarette because I don't want to throw it out the window. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
I'm even kind of paranoid to ash out the window now because
Yeah.
I feel like I get bad looks. I'm like, I need to stop smoking.
Yeah, people treat
No,
the
you won't
area
be
like
as cool.
like it's their home or something.
you won't be as cool.
I
as
won't be
you-
as cool. I
Yeah.
love smoking. I really love smoking.
It makes you cool.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a child of the
That's what
90s.
Joe
so smoking's still
that's
cool.
what Joe Campbell
Yeah.
taught us.
Yeah, Joe
We were-
Campbell, man. He
We
was
were the
cool as
last
shit.
kids to think smoking was cool.
Yeah, well, you know what? These little shits out here that work at these little fast food restaurants and stuff, all those lucky little bastards smoke. And they're from the richy rich. These kids are showing up in Porsche Cayenne turbos that are 3 years old and fucking used Subarus and shit, newer ones that are they're all smoking their little fucking heads off. Might be cool with rich kids around here or something. I don't. Who knows? Swinging's in around here. But catch us next time, this time, and every time on the We Are Libertarians Network, found at wearelibertarians.com and on Facebook at We Are Libertarians. And there's all
Catch
kinds
us
of
next
stuff.
week where Maya finishes her idea on swinging that she was about to.
Oh,
That's the entire second episode.
yeah, join us next time after I explore the swinging scene in Denver, Colorado.
An undercover expose by Maya Axton.
Yeah.
Shit.
More shit posting brought to you by We Are Libertarians.
Oh, God, blame Chris Spangle for this disaster. See you guys next time.
Catch.
Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.